lords and ladies. DJ CraigE here with the Progeny Behind the Fang podcast. And joining me as always, my amazing wife and co-host, Ming Xiao, a Neapolitan Woo. Welcome.
Hello, welcome, my darling husband. So, tonight we have a very special guest. Guess who it is? It's DJ Craigie. All right. So, we've been trying to get his interview done for a year plus. So, tonight's the night, folks, and it's not even a full moon. So, are you ready for this, DJ Craigie?
Oh, I am ready.
Okay, to all the lords and ladies of the night out there, we're ready to roll. Let's do this. All right. Question number one. What made you join the ranks of the immortal? How did you hear about Progeny Vampire?
Well, it was about probably 5 years ago now. I
Oh,
had
it's been that
taken,
long?
yeah, about that. I had taken a long break from Second Life, and when I returned, I always enjoyed vampire roleplay, so I was looking around for some vampire nightclubs or whatnot to meet some fellow vampires. I came across End of Days, and I decided to go hang out. And a vampire approached me actually, and somewhat explained how progeny worked, and I was very intrigued. So, that vampire being Wicked Trinity. Um, so yeah, she introduced me to her family, which even more intrigued me because I always wanted to be part of a huge family, and there was everything from lycanthropes to witches to demons. Like, it was just so cool to be part of that. And,
Well, there's something for everyone.
well, exactly. And I hadn't even joined yet. That was just how I learned about it. And then I finally got offered a trial for 30 days to be part of the family. And if everything went well after that, I would be turned vampire. And, well, obviously it went well because here I am. So,
Obviously, you
but
poured
yeah,
on the charm.
it was really interesting when I read my first note card about progeny. I remember thinking, like, this is cool, and I don't have to ask permission to bite or anything. Like, I am in.
Don't be giving away all of our secrets on here. So then, your sire, your embrace. Tell us about that journey through that dark tunnel of transformation. We want to know all of the details of how it went down.
Well, for sure. So, as I said, I had a 30-day trial to be part of the family, and once that time
That
expired,
was in case they needed to, yeah, expired. I was gonna say that's in case they needed to keep the receipt and get rid of you after 30 days.
yeah, they got the
Sorry.
return policy, right? So,
Like, yeah, they got the warranty on you.
well, and I respect that though, because you don't want to just let anybody into your family or wear your name. So
It's very true, yes.
it was funny because, as I mentioned, Wicked Trinity was the one who introduced me into progeny, and she brought me into her family. However, this is where it gets interesting. My sire, um, Kay Soverne, is actually the one who turned me. She is part of Wicked's family, and she hadn't turned anybody yet. So, I mean, here I am. And it was a great turning ceremony. We had an altar, and once I turned, I floated into the air. Blood actually rained from the sky, and I came down a vampire. I was. I really wish I could have recorded it. It was that awesome and special for me that, you know,
That sounds fantastic. And their family was always very good at role play, so I can definitely see that being a great first experience for you.
it very much was. And um, Kay and her husband Falcon, they showed me the ropes, they showed me how to feed, they showed me how to fight, they gave me everything I needed to be a good vampire. And it was a rough 30 days at first. I remember meeting the one and only Arch Lucian while I was out feeding, and he gave me a little nibble, and I got so nervous I didn't know what to do, and not realizing that I was still fledgling, so it wasn't doing anything to me. But the excitement of
That
that.
was just, yeah, that was the welcoming committee.
Exactly. And like I remember messaging Wicked or Kay right away. I'm being attacked. Yeah.
Yeah, that first attack is kind of, you know,
You'll never
it's
forget it.
thrilling. You never will forget it, no. That's why I forgot mine already. So your character has gone through a lot, like a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of changes. Tell us how your character has evolved throughout the years. 5 years, 5 long years.
Well, I mean, the very beginning I was a vampire, a baby vampire with, I don't want to say a chip on his shoulder, but I had to make a name for myself in some way. So I decided at one point to actually join the Ravnos. I really wanted to learn how to fight, and I wanted to fight well. And so I thought to do that, I'm going to, immerse myself in it. So I joined the Ravnos. I spoke with Jesse, and I was brought in. And I learned quite a bit. I actually met Felly when I was in there. And, a lot of great
Her Lady
friends.
Belly.
Yeah, a lot of great friends that I still speak to sometimes. Um, but yeah, so that part, it was definitely wanting to be a warrior, which I definitely had my fair share of fights. After that,
So you seize the opportunity to advance yourself, expertise in combat.
well, exactly, and I thought, who better to learn from than like I did my own research, and at the time they were the most feared and the most, you know, when you saw the Ravenos coming, it wasn't a joke. So I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to be part of that and earn a name for myself, and I believe me, I did. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, after some mutual disagreements, I decided to leave the Ravnos, and this was before she became an arch, but Sovereign Kylie took me in and realized that I had a decent following and decided to grant me a house and in her clan until I found, a better place to go. And it was very kind of her to do that. Um,
Yes.
Especially me being a Ravenos and whatnot. But yeah, she kind of took me under her wing and helped me out and kind of gave me the right guidance to further on. And from Arch Kylie, I actually went back to the Harbingers of Blood, um, the bloodline, but the actual clan this time with Arch Zoe. And I
Mm-hmm.
spent quite a bit of time there, probably 2 years, I think. At least a year, anyways. But moving on, so yeah, they were my family for quite a long time. My sister Turtle, uh, I still talk to her every now and then. I met her there, and it's just the people that you meet in these families, they become your family. So, from
Absolutely.
the Harbingers of Blood, I actually went back to kind of my roots a little bit. I went back with Wicked, who was with Arch Sweet Dragosty,
Mm-hmm.
and I spent some time back there. And, at
Like
that,
over a little bit over a year, I think.
I was going to say a little bit over a year. And at that
Hmm.
point, you and I had been together for quite a long time. And I decided I wanted to be with my wife. And I moved from there to Archwodan's line in Ironhar here. And I've been here ever since. It's been quite the journey, but I'm happy to say I'm where I need to be for now. And my clan, Carpe Noctem, is still around. And, we're growing. So hopefully things are gonna peak up this summer, and we have some great events coming. My wife and I got some plans.
And
But
your fangs are still seizing the night, that's for sure.
they sure are. When my mouth isn't like carefully sewn shut from diabolic parthenia, they sure are.
She has a very long thread. It can reach like wow. Yeah. So you don't want to mess with diabolic Parthenia, that's for sure. Craig has learned that lesson. Right, Craig?
Well, exactly. When she says shush, I zip it.
That you do, yes. Finally you're getting that lesson after 5 years. Well, it takes some people a little bit longer, folks. Okay. So now you've been doing the podcast for quite a few years now as well. So tell us how you got to be known as the Realms podcaster, DJ Craigie.
Ooh, well, that I had been really excited when I had heard that there was a podcast position available, and I had told you actually, I had said, I really would like to do that, and so we spoke to Diabolic Domino, and sooner rather than later, I gotta say, we did our first podcast, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It's kind of humbling to say that I got this opportunity, especially to be able to do it with my wife. It just made it so much more special to me. So I stuck with it for years, and at first I had a horrible microphone. I mean, I sounded like quote unquote Darth Vader. So
Aw.
I'm glad that's all taken care of now, and things are running smooth. And we have some great podcasts coming. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe. And yeah, I love my job and I love the guests that we meet. We meet all different types from rogues to renegades to scribes to familiars. I mean, it's just an honor to interview these people and hear their story.
It really is. It's an exciting opportunity that we are grateful for. And
Hmm.
nobody I'd rather do it with, except myself, of course. uh, yeah. So, you are also a DJ, DJ Craigie. We would never be able to know to tell. But you've had a very colorful career, working progeny events throughout the years, as well as many popular private clubs. So talk to us about this.
Well, um, where to begin? It's funny because I
Music
never
is your
pictured.
passion.
It really is. It's my passion, and I never really pictured myself a DJ. And then way back in 1999 or 98, one of the two, I was given an opportunity to DJ at a very popular real life nightclub called the Outlaw Inn. Um, and it was amazing. I fell in love with the art. Back in those days, I was using cassette tapes and crossfaders and CD players with crossfaders. Like there was no really awesome setup, right? So, but I fell in love with
Hmm.
it. I learned how to do it and do it well. And I had a great teacher, so it just became second nature. I've done some weddings in real life, and some other clubs in Calgary, Alberta, and just a lot of different events online. I love doing that. For rather it be for Progeny, it'll be a Relay for Life event, or I have done a lot of private clubs, Club Havoc, Club Exhale, or I should say Exhale, and Badman's Beach. I actually owned and ran that, and it just
The Diabolic Park. You've
the
done
Diabolic
tons of
Park.
stuff.
hmm
Yeah.
and countless others throughout the 11, 12 years I've been on Second Life. It's just been a blast. One of my favorite shows to do. I love doing the obviously I love the techno and the dance and the minimal techno type of music and just hard pounding bass on the weekends and doing that. But I also love to do my throwback sets, my 90s, my 80s, um, movie soundtracks, and just so many. Music is an art, and you can just do so much with it. So it's one of my favorite things to do. It's more of a passion than a job, but yeah, what can I say?
And you work the Progeny Club at Clandestine every Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. Second
I
Life
sure
time
do. We're
with the
hoping to maybe
Bloodworks
do
Den.
some theme sets every Saturday, maybe 90s or just something different each weekend, something fun. So make sure you check us out at the Clandestine Winery for sure.
The Undead are such a lively group. Yeah. So I know everyone is dying to know, how did you meet me?
Well, this I love this story. So,
I know that's why I'm asking.
back when I was with the Trinity family, they did so many great things in regards to roleplay, and every week we had meetings on Wednesday and Saturdays, I believe. And I remember I was attending one of these meetings, and then I heard this voice, and I remember saying, "Oh my God, who's that?" And then I asked my friend at the time, Celeste, I said, "Hey, who is that speaking?" Oh, and she just said, "Oh, that's Ming." I'm like, "Okay, all right. Ming, huh? I gotta say hello." And it was funny because I finally mustered up the courage. She had posted, I can't believe I said she, you had posted this picture on Facebook or Flickr, I believe, of yourself with your fangs bared and a very vicious photo, and I really liked it. And I said,
Yeah.
"You did great work on that photo. I really love that. Maybe one day you can help me do one for myself." And we started talking, and I don't know if it was the same for her, but for me, sparks flew. um, and yeah, it was really all downhill from there. Uh,
Downhill.
yeah, I mean, I had fallen in love with you in about a year or so after that. Maybe a little later, we had partnered and became the amazing podcast couple that we are now.
I think it was more like 3 years later, but yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a little bit,
Time
and
flies.
we got to know each
Time
other,
flies
and
when you're the immortal.
well, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Is
we
this
had
why I say you had me at hello?
uh, well, what was it? It was dark greetings, Lady Ming. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't even in that family. I just helped them out. So I was doing the meetings and stuff and helping them with something. They had a group I was helping them with, so
Yeah, it
so
was.
it must have been destiny, fate and destiny. And I remember the first time you invited me to the club to listen to you DJ,
hmm
and I was just blown away with your talent, honestly. So,
Yeah, I remember it was Club Havoc, I believe, and
yes.
it was it was an amazing time for me on Second Life. It was a good time for the club scene, and hopefully that picks up soon. And like I said, we're doing some great things at the clandestine winery, so make sure you come and check me and my
Mm-hmm.
wife out every Saturday.
Yes. So, do you have any final thoughts, advice for those new fledglings that are growing their fangs? The youth, the progeny, the future. Speak to them, Craig.
For the new fledglings and the growing vampires, well, basically just stick with what you want to do it right, and make sure if you don't reach out to somebody and speak to somebody about what you want to do or what you want to achieve, it won't just fall in your lap. So make sure you want to DJ an event, you talk to the events committee. You want to, get a house, you talk to your clan sovereign. There's just so much you can do, and yeah, keep at it. You build a
Show
strong,
interest, initiate. Come on, you got this.
yep, you build a strong character, and yeah, you'll go far. Or you'll just have a
Mm-hmm.
really enjoyable role play experience. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And make sure you stay fed and don't go AFK in public places, right?
Yeah. Oh, before we go, I do need to ask you about your favorite, because I know you're very good at combat and you always excelled at it. I need to ask you about your favorite Red War memory.
Oh, the Red War. Well,
Yes.
there was a lot of combat scenes, we'll say, in the entire thing, but one of them
And
that
the
really,
clubs, they were really blowing up.
that's it. And one of the most memorable experiences that I have from the Red War was I remember it was all just like coming to coming to a peak, and I had to show that I had to DJ for 2 hours, and I thought nothing of it. So I went to my Club Havoc set and I was DJing away, and I was in my other screen, and I look back and I'm getting bitten by about 8 different people. And I was like, "Oh my goodness." So I had to like get out of there and message my boss and say, "Yeah, no, I'm still DJing. I just need to fix something real quick." Because, masquerade.
Yes.
Oh, and yeah, so, but yeah, they
It was
got
like a
on.
scene from the Lost Boys when all these people were flying around. It was just crazy.
Well, of course. So I went and I got some lunch, and I came back, and yeah, there was a lot of flying, a lot of biting, a lot of screaming. A beautiful, beautiful weekend at Club Havoc.
I
Yeah.
bet you were so grateful when that war was over.
Well, I sure was because it was quite the predicament I was in at the time.
Inconvenience.
Well, inconvenience as well. Predicament, inconvenience. You could roll all that into one, I guess. But you know,
Yeah.
um, everybody had a point to prove, and you know, the
It's a sharp
victorious
point.
queen. you
And
know,
DJ cried most of it. Yeah. So, one last question. Can't let you go until I ask you this. So who do you identify your character most like closest to? A vampire.
like a famous vampire. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Mm,
I know what you're going to say. I just have to
well,
ask.
it's a really hard question because I have a lot of very good movies that I
Oh,
love,
it's
and
Eric Northman.
but
Okay, it's Eric Northman, everyone.
yeah, I'm gonna have to say Eric Northman from True Blood for sure. Only a DJ, but and I mean I'm in the right clan. I'm in Ironhar, so I'm a Viking DJ. Hell yeah! But
But he does a very mean impression of Bill Compton, folks, when he's dying in the sun.
well,
We could we could end it with that,
yeah,
Craig.
it's pretty funny. It's like I don't know why it always makes me laugh every time I see it. I was watching it with my wife for her first time, mind you, folks, and I was like, "Oh my God." And so it's a rather emotional scene where Sookie's being in danger and Bill can feel it, but it's during the day, so he crawls out of the ground anyway and starts on fire and he's like, "Sookie." and
Oh Lord.
but
I
every
love
time
that.
I see that I just start laughing. I don't know why. It just
I do too, now that I heard your impression of it. It's great.
yeah.
Well, this has been an amazing interview, and I'm sure the community is going to enjoy listening all about DJ Craigie's history. There's a lot of stuff we couldn't, cover, folks, and a lot of X-rated stuff. But hey, that's for another time. Thank
Well,
you,
I wouldn't
Craig,
say
for doing
X-rated.
this
I would just
interview.
say, you know, on a whole
Oh,
different
scandalous.
podcast.
Scandalous.
Just a whole
Yeah.
different episode. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has really been an honor to be here and actually tell my story. And I want to thank you all for joining us on the Progeny Behind the Fang podcast. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Stay up to date with all of our awesome notifications and our awesome content. We got a lot coming up, so make sure you stay tuned.
Ding, 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 ring that bell, folks. Thank you for spending your eternity here with us at Progeny Vampire. Good night, y'all.